Hey everyone, it's Brad Weber, and guess what? I have the fortune of being your host again for 2023 Informs in Phoenix, Arizona, and we are very, very close to this meeting. And I cannot believe that I have the ability right now to have caught this guy in the hallway here at Inform's office to talk about what's coming up and all the excitement ahead. And you and I share something.
Yeah,
My very first meeting live in 2021 was also yours
that's
in
right.
Anaheim.
And
That's
Anaheim.
where we met, and certainly had a lot of interesting times there with still navigating COVID. And so I'd love to hear from you about, first of all, just how are you and how are things going?
Things are great. As you can imagine, coming out of the pandemic, we have seen the meetings business booming, and that includes our Informs meetings. And so our attendance is back, our speakers are back, and we are really excited to kick off our meeting in 2023 in Phoenix. So, yeah.
Phoenix is such a great city. You have any favorite things you like to do there?
Oh man, I love Phoenix for a lot of reasons. I'm a dry heat guy, right? But October, the weather's fantastic.
Beautiful.
But also, the downtown area where we're going to be has developed so much since the last time Informs was there, even since the last time I was there in 2020. So I'm excited for our folks to come back down and see everything that's happened in the downtown Phoenix area.
And make sure you check out the food scene. The food scene's amazing.
It is. And they've also just opened a brand new brewery right across the street. Well, it's actually technically in the convention center, but it's across the street from one of the buildings that we'll be in. So it's really exciting. I've been there. I personally checked out the beer myself.
Good. Well, I'm sure you'll be ready to be there on the very last day after it's all over. So we're getting close. How's the attendance?
It's great, actually. We were looking at our numbers yesterday, and we are about 700 people ahead of where we were at this time last year, which is great. It puts us right back on track to where we left off in 2019, and we're excited to be able to welcome so many people back to the Informs annual meeting.
Any big changes that attendees should be aware of this year?
I wouldn't say that there's a lot of big changes. I think what we've really tried to focus on is refinement. As you mentioned, I've only been here for 2 years, and so a lot has happened throughout the pandemic and then coming out of the pandemic, and as we are reevaluating and looking at how our meetings operate. So, we take the feedback we get on our evaluations very seriously. I read every single comment from every single person who completes an evaluation. Last year it was 43 pages that I reviewed. Wow. And there's some things that we discovered and things that we're focusing on this year, right? So some elements that we're really keying in on is our customer service. How can we offer people more answers to more questions and more accessibly, right? With 88 concurrent breakout sessions, keynotes, plenaries, community business meetings, people are all over throughout the center, and there's only so many Informed staff and volunteers who can be available. So one of the things we've done this year that I'm excited about is we're introducing a chat bot. We're using some of that AI technology within our app to help people be able to get quick and immediate answers to some of their most pressing questions, like where is the coffee or when is the coffee, right? So we're really excited about that. We've also made some adjustments and improvements to our quality of food and beverage this year. So it's something we heard loud and clear from our event last year in Indianapolis. So we've partnered with the Phoenix Convention Center and their food and beverage team to really make some improvements there that I hope that our participants are excited about.
That's great. So words of the wise, fill out that survey. It's incredible that you all spent that time and actually doing actionable things around that. Mm-hmm. I think that speaks a great deal about the organization. So a lot goes on behind the scenes. We'll talk about that in a second. But what advice do you have for someone who is showing up for the very first time at this meeting? It's a big meeting.
It is. It's a huge meeting. And we have a lot of people that this is their first time attending an Informs event or this particular meeting. And so what I like to tell people is take it slow, right? Lean into it, but don't overdo it. And one of the best resources that's available for first-time attendees at our meeting is our mobile app. And our mobile app has a lot of information, which can also feel overwhelming. So one of those other improvements that we've really focused on this year is how to better use the mobile app and how to provide things that are more accessible. So how to access sessions by day or by cluster. We are doing a specific call out for where our community business meetings and special events, right? So those things will be easier for our attendees to locate this year, which I also think will really help those who are coming for the first time. But take it easy, enjoy yourself. You don't have to go to everything. You can't go to everything. It's just not possible. with an event our size. But make sure to try and find things that really resonate with you, but also try something that maybe you wouldn't normally do. Go to a session on a topic you wouldn't normally step into. Make sure to visit the exhibit hall and connect with our partners and find out some new technology that you might not otherwise use. Those are all great opportunities for folks who are first-time attendees.
It's a really great advice, and particularly what I love is about the app. Make sure you download that app before you get there. Don't plan on the airport Wi-Fi. So get that done, and then use that tool. It was interesting having been able to interview several people the last few years. One thing I've heard repeatedly is the networking and the networking just happens when you're walking down the hallway. And I've heard some amazing stories about people finally getting to meet their idol and having those one-on-one conversations. So step out of your comfort zone for sure. So this is a members meeting. And I think sometimes people think, oh, well, I'm brand new or I'm this or that. How is it from an inclusive standpoint for everyone, regardless of how long they've been tenured or how long they've been in their career?
Absolutely. And I think you pointed out when you just mentioned the networking. I have colleagues in the industry who would pay to have the type of networking that we have organically. We don't have to create it. We don't have to force it. And to your point, a lot of folks who attend our meeting get that chance to meet that researcher that they've always dreamed about meeting, or that they've read their books or their research studies, which is really cool to watch happen. It doesn't matter if you've been a member of Informs for 25 years or 25 days. We see those interactions happen all the time, all throughout the convention center. And for me, as the director of meetings, walking down the hall and watching those things happen, watching folks stand engrossed and hearing the conversations that are happening and connecting with the content and connecting with the research, it's really exciting to see happen. And it's something in my almost 20-year career I've never seen happen as organically as it happens at our meetings. So again, I think anyone who is a new member or a first-time attendee at our meeting, they should be open and recognize that they're going to make those connections, and probably more than they think they're going to. They will be tired by the end of this meeting, I assure you. They will talk to so many people. They will find so many things engaging that when we wrap up on that Wednesday afternoon, they'll be ready for a long nap.
And maybe going over to the brewery.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. It's really interesting what you're talking about as far as membership, and community, the sense of community you just discussed, not only while you're actually on site, but Informs does an amazing job of creating community 365 days a year. So this is one stop and that amazing member benefit. So I love that. What are you in particular looking forward to at this meeting?
I love Phoenix as a destination. We started off with that. I think it's a great destination. I think the city has a lot to offer. I am excited about some of the adjustments we've made to the schedule this year with the organizing committee. Has been really thoughtful about how we've put the schedule together. I'm excited about the small improvements that we've made that I hope will have a big impact on the participant experience, including the improvements to the mobile app that we're doing. So for me, I'm just excited to have as many people as we can be present at the Informs annual meeting. That's for me what's so exciting right now. And right now we're on target to be as large as our largest, if not a record breaker this year. So that's really exciting.
Totally fantastic. So let's take a little stroll behind the curtain a little bit. So this guy right here, he is what I would call a swan. He is this poise and grace on the surface during these events, but those feet are really going underneath that, making sure everything happens. So there's always things that happen. So what are some secrets you have about what happens behind the scenes to make sure things appear to be flawless?
Well, I think a couple of things that people don't realize: how early our day starts and how late our day ends, right? So for many of our team members, some of us are up at the 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock hour, and we're already on the floor. We are making sure signage is correct. We're making sure that registration is stocked. We're making sure that our exhibitors are in place, that all the audio visual is in place and ready to go. Probably one of the things I spend the most amount of time in is trying to figure out just how much coffee do we need to order. We go through a lot of coffee. People don't believe how much coffee we go through. People also don't believe how expensive coffee is.
Yeah, it's very expensive.
That's probably the biggest secret that isn't such a secret on my side of the world, but for our participants. So it takes a lot of people with a lot of passion and a little bit of magic to make this work, right? It's a giant puzzle that we put together every year and trying to figure out how do we get everybody where they need to be or should be and and affording them the opportunity to have the best experience possible. It's not always going to be perfect, but it's certainly something that we're striving for, is to make the best experience possible for our participants.
That's wonderful. And, it takes a village. So you have a team here, but you also have a lot of volunteers as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So from your perspective, what is, I guess, the best feedback or best compliment you could receive directly from a meeting attendee?
I think it's twofold. One, I don't think people understand how much just a thank you, even in person. So we see it in our evaluations, but on site, when people say, we really appreciate the work that you've put in, or just a simple thank you, that means the world to us, right? It is what I always tell the team that I lead is that the work we do is very personal, but we try not to take it personally, because we know that it's not everything's going to be perfect all the time. It happens, right? So that's, it's really important though for us to hear that feedback. So it goes to the other piece you mentioned, the evaluations, right? Hearing people's feedback is so important. This is everyone's meeting. It's everyone's meeting, right? It's our members' meetings, it's our speakers' meeting, it's our plenary speakers' meeting, it's my meeting as a staff member. We all have ownership in how we make this successful and impactful for everyone. And so, that's where that feedback comes in and is really, really important and helps us continue to improve year over year.
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you for joining today to have this discussion, because I know there's a lot of things going on that desk right now. Any final message or any last nugget you'd like to share to the audience?
We're just so excited to welcome everyone to Phoenix in October, and we're excited to have a really successful meeting. And so, yeah, that's where we're at. We're ready to get everybody there. It's been 2.5 years in the making. That's about what our cycle of planning is, 2 to 2.5 years for a meeting. So this meeting's been in progress for a while. So we're ready. We're ready to be there and to welcome people. So.
Well, thank you again for your time, and thank all of you for what is going to be an amazing event. And please heed the advice of the app, networking, pace yourself, and have some fun. Thanks, everyone.